I don't even remember the last time I did a video, so this is gonna be a very rough video, just saying, because I am just now getting back into making videos, so yeah. So I realized I can't memorize anything. This whole building echoes, okay? And it's been a while since I've done a slideshow, like about 11 years, so you're gonna have to bear with me. It's just if I don't have something, and I also have like a whole thing that I've written and highlighted, like it's a lot because I can't keep it together. Okay, so we're just gonna go from there. I was hoping like there wouldn't be anybody because it's like Sunday morning. This thing's gross. Like, this is a freaking fireplace right here. Okay. Oh man, I feel like I'm shouting in here, and it doesn't help that this is a shelter. So it just feels like everything's extremely loud, and I'm in a public place. So I feel like I'm yelling right now. So who this is for, this is basically just for nobody. This is like for me. This is for bored people. What have I learned? Nothing really. Like I've learned a lot, and I feel like I've like been able to take in a lot of info, and oh gosh, I cannot articulate my words anymore. The thing I've really learned is myself, you know, like, which it doesn't seem much now that I say it out loud. Self-awareness is basically my whole journey of 10 years. It took 10 years for my brain to finally get it together. And again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, so this is all my opinion, all right? I'm not a professional in anything, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, basically. Anyway, so my perspective of where I'm coming from, so you can kind of understand why I see things a certain way or something. Basically, I'm an only child. Sometimes they can be a little bit more like sheltered, which yeah, I was sheltered. I don't think that I was sheltered that much, but now that I look back at it and people tell me, yeah, I was sheltered. Nothing wrong with that, but that's something that you kind of have to work through, in my opinion. So anyway, both of my parents are boomers. Also, as an only child, I feel like I kind of raised myself, which I didn't. My parents raised me, but a lot of times it kind of felt like I was on my own. Like, I don't know. If you're an only child, then maybe you understand. There's on the perspective, I'll just go real fast. I'm a hermit. I'm a loner. I'm also an observer and like a creative, you know, regular stuff. I like to observe more. Like the whole thing where, oh, you won't know until you experience it yourself. No, there's some things in life that you do not have to experience to understand if it'll work for you or not, you know, that kind of thing, or how you would go about it. Observe other people, learn from your own mistakes plus other people's mistakes. It'll help you in life. I'm also a procrastinator, if you didn't know. Night owl, pessimistic with sarcastic optimism. Because pessimism, I don't think it's that negative. It's just the people that are pessimistic are negative as hell. But I see it as more of, you're looking at reality, you know? The optimism, most of the optimism I see is people disregarding like what people worry about, and then just saying, you know, look towards the good in it. And it's like, a lot of times they just brush over how to fix it, you know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. We're moving on, because this isn't even like, this is just perspective. Anyway, the brain is too self-aware. I'm a 97 liner, so that's my perspective. Gen Z. Also, I'm just your average human being. So I don't know anything, you know, but I know what feels right to me sometimes. Okay. So yeah, we're just gonna go with that. So that's where my perspective is coming from, just roughly what I'll be talking about. There's also in the description, there's gonna be timestamps to all the topics on that timeline that I'll be talking about. this shelter is like the least public, like busy. There's hardly ever people that come over here unless they rented the shelter for a party or whatever, which is a shame that they even allow. That dude lives down the street from me. I know that car from the sound of it. But oh my goodness, that's one of those cars you can go, it's got the pipe on the engine or something. I think you take it mudding or whatever. What the freak was I talking about? We're gonna talk about childhood. Childhood shapes who you are. I'm just gonna talk. Like, I cannot, my attention span is gone. Like, it's there and it's getting better, but yeah, it's been real bad and I'm finally admitting it. So I'm gonna have to just look at my phone and read off because I cannot memorize it. If that makes sense. Childhood shapes who you are. It's up to you to carve your way in the world. So, also I'm a paranoid person, so put that down in the perspectives, all right? Well, I don't know what the freak, I got this right here, and then I have this, and these are separate, so I don't know. I'll just read it off, I guess. So what's something you wish you could tell your younger self? I actually never thought, I didn't put an answer. Every time that question comes up in any kind of interview, it's usually the same answer and I'd probably go with it. And it's just, I'd just tell my younger self, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. That's what I would. I'd probably slap the shit out of my younger self too. And then what's something you want to hear from your younger self? Actually, I think I might switch it. I feel like that's what I'd like to hear from my younger self. Like, it's not your fault. And I think what I would tell me as a kid, that everything will be all right, you know? I think that's what I would say. Anyway, so your childhood doesn't have to define who you are as an adult. You know, I came to that conclusion too. The fact of certain things that I went through and like happened to me and how I was raised and the environment that I grew up with, the people that I hung out with. A lot of times I just kind of chalked it up to, well, it happened in my childhood and that's just who I am now. Like, it's because of that, you know? And it kind of stops you from really looking deeper into it and kind of, like, that doesn't have to be you. Like, you can change. You can always change. And I believe you should always be trying to change for the better. Like, because there's always room for improvement. You know, you don't want to try to strive for perfection or anything. But I believe everybody can always change for the better, is I guess what I'm trying to say. I believe around 18 to 30, 30 plus, never ending, you're unpacking your childhood, experiencing life, figuring out who you are as a person and how you want to live in this life. Yeah, that's all I'll say for that. Full maturity, brain development at 25 years old happens to some, not all. For me, it felt like around 26, 28. So that whole thing where people were saying that your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25, that's actually, I'm not sure because I did not research more about it. I'm pretty sure that's a fucking lie though, because it sounds, I've seen comments on there that said this is actually like kind of like pseudoscience. So yeah, it's, you know, when you think about it, your brain isn't fully developed at 25. Sounds like a lie. Like, because if you know people, if you talked with people just anywhere around the world, then hey, there's some old people that you realize, man, I don't think their brain ever developed at all. There is no end of full development in your brain. Like, you know, like there is no actual age number where, okay, now I'm good, my brain is all done and I am mature. That's not how it works. There was something, I was reading it and then I just like, meh, I'll just say it's crap. I don't even know. Anytime somebody's like talking about self-awareness, you always see that. Like it's at 25 years old. But then it's like, I don't know, you can shift it to where, okay, so you're still a kid basically until you're 25. And it's like, no. What the hell did I read? It was something about how your brain is kind of around like 25 and like early mid 30s is where you get finally like a baseline, like where you finally, it's not normal, but it's brain finally, I don't know, it like levels out everything, if that makes sense. Like, but the thing is, your brain doesn't stop like learning. I don't know how to really explain it actually now that I think about it. But I mean, like, we're continuously learning in life, no matter what. There's no age and then you're done or you're good. You don't have to learn anything else. It's like, no, because then you're just shutting yourself off from everything. I see it. I see people, our brains is basically sponges from the day that we're born. And when you're like a young sponge, you're just, a brand new sponge, and it just absorbs up everything. No matter what it is, they just absorb it. That's like a kid. They're like little sponges. But then like the older you get, you're still a sponge, but just less absorbable, if that makes sense. And it's a lot. There's so many different things of, what am I trying to say? I don't know. But basically, your development, like, it doesn't stop. You know, like when they say that, God, my brain is not doing it. Maybe I'm a late bloomer for my brain development because my brain cannot. I can't really put into words what I'm trying to say, but that's a lie. There is no end, like, level or end age of when you reach full maturity or when your brain is done, like, because your brain will continue to learn. It's something, I don't think a baseline is a good word for it, but it's something where your brain just kind of like levels out. I don't know really how to describe it. At least that's how I feel about it. Batteries dying. So the idea of adult and growing up. What the heck was I going to talk about that? Well, I'll come back to that. And then the other thing, a lot of things that happen in your childhood does affect you as an adult, like how you were raised in that type of environment. Yes, it does. Okay, so the adult thing, this is where I wrote the script. I had an idea of adults. People you could always go to for advice. Adults know what they're doing, right? Like, you'll look for an adult, like, to solve something or for help, and then you realize, oh wait, I'm the adult. I have to take the responsibility. It's me. It's all on me now. I had a different expectation for adults. A lot of people don't grow up. Different for everybody. Again, like, this is my perspective, and that's one out of 8.6 billion and counting people on this rock. I've noticed age doesn't matter, which is why it is important to better your knowledge and self. There's no grow up age, maturity. That's why I hate when people are like, oh, just grow up, or you have to start being mature, that kind of thing. And it's like, no, like whiplash or like a slap in the face was when I met, like, we'll just talk with older people than me, and I realized, oh man, there's a lot of people that don't grow up, and that's why I hate when they say that, because, like, they grow old, but they don't grow up. Like, in my opinion, yeah, the whole thing with, like, what happens in your childhood can affect you as an adult. That's kind of like, so I know you're not supposed to share too much online. I do. Not too much, but I feel like I want to, because I don't care for it to be private, like this stuff. Like, I'm open to talking about it, and I feel like we should be talking more deeply about things sometimes, like a balance of stuff, fun stuff, serious topics, that kind of thing. Anyway, so for example, both of my parents are very, like, emotionally unavailable. Like, never seen that emotion at all from my parents growing up. It's kind of, it did something to me to where I felt a lot of shame if I showed any kind of emotion, especially a vulnerable one like sadness and crying. And so what did that do? I've been bottling up my emotions forever until a few years back when I think after high school is when I started trying to work through them on my own. And it's good. It's all good. Like, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's an example of how it can affect you, and then you just work through it. Like, for me, for the constant bottling of emotions, it's just something I have to figure out why I'm doing it. I know why. And then also how to work around, like, how to just go through my emotions, be able to process it. It's that kind of thing. So how many friends do you have? Freaking flies. So every, like, section of school years, so like elementary, middle school, junior high, high school, all of those, I basically had like a different main, like, friend group every single series, of years. It's a freaking park out here. It's outdoors. Of all places, there's gotta be one fly. What the hell? I'd say I'd still have 4. I think a few of them, like, switched out, and that's usually just because we're on different life paths and you move away, that kind of thing. So how many stuck around after graduation? Everyone is on different journeys. Friends will come and go, and sometimes you have to let them go. I see life as a revolving door. Like, that's how I take relationships. Like, eventually people are gonna leave. Not all the time. There's some that do stick around. And if you find, like, a relationship like that, like a friendship, keep it, okay? Work on it together. That's a hard one. Now that I think about it, like, that is hard to do. Yeah, it is. It takes both parties to keep a friendship going. You have to put in the effort. Same for the other person. That's true. Because, like, if you don't want to do, like, a one-sided relationship kind of thing, and I've been seeing that a lot online, where a lot of people seem to have just, like, a one-sided kind of friendship, or about how they had to cut off their friends because, or just went completely, like, ghosted them, like, no contact, because they were always the one that was always, like, reaching out to them, and they never reached out to that person. So yeah, it is kind of like that. It's both parties got to do the work. And with that whole thing, that's a hard thing to work through, because I did that. I ghosted a lot of my friends, like, for a bit, and that's just mine. I felt like a burden, not gonna lie, because I can't, I don't know. It felt like everybody was so busy and on, like, an important life path. And then meanwhile, I took a 2-year break after high school, and I had quit my job. So I was just at home, like, trying to figure out what to do and debating whether or not to, like, join the military or not. Didn't join. So yeah, it's that I don't really know how I got out of it, because I think it was, like, both parties. It was me and my friends that were starting to where things were getting relaxed in our lives. Well, and so we started reaching out. And then just when we were, like, younger as kids, easier to, make friends. It's easier to hang out with your friends because you're all going to the same school. You're usually all in the same area. And so it was just so much easier. And you all have a set schedule to school, usually, unless somebody's, like, working or something. And it's just easier. And then after, all of our schedules are different, so it's hard making new friends. Friendships take work, we all know that. It's like anything, you can't, like, you can let it stagnate for a bit, but it's also something that both parties need to understand that. So if you're the kind of person that's okay with not talking for months and then coming back and just picking up where you left off, cool. But is the other person okay with that? Like, you know, you have to use your communication skills so that you don't unintentionally like hurt your friend, you know? Like, it's that kind of thing. And a lot of the stuff I see, it feels like it's just not enough communication amongst each other is what it seems. I have made quite a few friends, I thought. But the only problem was they were all through work. Do I have any of those friends anymore? No. And a few of them I did cut off, like just ghosted, just because you know when someone's not really a good fit to be in your life. What the hell is that word? Where you're bad influence? That still applies until you're a freaking senior citizen, I swear. Well, until you're dead. Like, you have to really check on people because, I don't know, people are weird. People are really weird. I have no advice on how to make friends. I'm okay with not making new friends. I've made enough, and then I was like, it's so much energy, and it's just because it's a lot, you know, like 4 friends is more than enough for me, to be honest. Like, that's plenty. Some sort of advice for it? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I mean, how I made friends at the beginning, I just talk to them. Like, I just start talking and asking questions, like, and then find something that we're both have like a common interest in, and then you just go from there. But it's also, you got to step out of that comfort zone, you know, that kind of thing, where if you want to make friends, you're gonna have to put yourself out there, you know. And it's hard. You're gonna go through a lot of people that are just crap people, and it hurts, and you just move on. So cherish and nourish the friendship. Yep, you have to keep it going, like, on both parties, because it's real easy for people just to stop and, like, you know, move on to the next thing. It's real easy just to forget about people. Different types of friend groups depending on the environment. I don't know why I put that in there. Most of the friends you make during school are just because you're both in the same setting. That's true. Found that out real fast, to be honest. I guess a park with a playground was not a good idea. This is nice, I like this. It's just the wind and the interruptions, but I'm in public, what do you expect? I don't like people anyway, I tried. Yeah, that's true. Differences like religion, yep. That's the thing. I thought that I could be that kind of person that could be friends with anybody no matter what, you know, because I don't want to be like a judgmental person, but I still judge people. But I wanted to be able to look past like certain people's beliefs, and I tried. I can't. Like, especially religion, I cannot be friends with people that are like overly religious. As long as you don't talk to me about it at all, unless you want to talk about all sorts of different types of religion, then we're fine. But yeah, I can't. I tried, and I just ghosted them because I got tired of it. I couldn't handle it. I was just like, don't preach. Like, don't preach to me, bro. I don't need it. Also, people are weird as hell. That is true. Like, the people that I've cut off and was friends with, I just, like, after a bit, when you get to know people, you know, then the mask comes off, and sometimes you can see, like, who they truly are. People are fucking weird. I don't know how many times, like, I just meet someone for the first time, and they tell me, like, the most horrific thing I've ever heard possible, and it's weird. Like, human behavior confuses me, to be honest. That's all I'll have to say about that. For me personally, I end up neglecting friendships just because I feel like a burden and a nuisance to people. Like, I know I'm a very annoying person, and I don't want to annoy people too much, you know, or I just don't want to be too much of a nuisance to somebody that already has like a lot of stuff going on in their lives, you know? And then I start to overthink it. And then I'm like, oh, now they're gonna think I hate them or something. And it's like, it's not that. But it also took me a while to try to communicate that. And that's really hard to do when you don't know how. And basically it's just like you figure out why and you just explain it. Like if it's your friend, they will understand. Like it's as simple as that. It's all communication. And if they don't understand, then it might be one of those people that are going through the revolving door, you know? There's a lot of people that are gonna come in and out of your life, and a lot of people that are just gonna disappear out of it, and it's all right, you know? We're all on different journeys. What do you wanna be when you grow up? Education, the next one. Now that I think about it, like what do I have a goal of now that I'm older? To be honest, there isn't really anything I really want to do. I'd just rather be, I don't know, like a good person. Is that cringe? You know, it's like that kind of thing. It's like there's not really, I'd just rather be like the best version of myself, you know? Instead of like a job or something, job title, that ain't nothing. It's a job title. Rambling and we're running out of battery. Oh yeah, education, that's the joke. You're mainly there just to learn the basics and socialization. That's, in my opinion, yeah, that's all I learned. And as you can see, it didn't really help. Teachers don't get paid enough, that's true. Some teachers care, some don't. Administration problems, 4 choices: college, trade school, military, or work. Comparison hits here, cliques, drama, that kind of thing. Kind of teaching you from pre-K to 12th grade to follow rules without any questions. I hated school, all right? I hated it. Like the only times I enjoyed it was doing the things I love, which was either freaking field hockey or art or yearbook. Like that was it. Or just chilling with my friends. That was all the best memories. Everything else about school, there's support and there's no support at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, they make it seem like you can come talk to anybody, but I think it's just how the teachers act. I just can't. I don't know what I was gonna go with that. Just make sure the kids pass so the numbers look good on our school. That was the whole thing in our school, and I don't know if they're still doing that. I'm not sure if that's the whole no child left behind thing, but if you know that, you know that was a whole joke. They would tell us like there was certain stuff, like papers we had to do or else we're not gonna be able to graduate. A ton of people didn't do that paper and they still graduated. Like it's that kind of thing, I think is what I was trying to say about that. Oh yeah, just make sure the kids pass, because if you fail a ton of kids, the numbers of failures in your students is going to be, it's going to look bad back on the school. So it's that whole thing. Can you hear that mofo? I swear to God. Still pissed at how much I was so worried about schoolwork and test, LMAO, people. Oh yeah, like so much of that, once you're out, you realize that you were just like overthinking most of the time. And oh, I hated that place. Anyway, most didn't really matter. Oh yeah, a lot of this schoolwork and tests. I mean, it matters if you're gonna use the grades to go into further your education, or if you're gonna go into the military, you know. Never went to college, couldn't afford it. Also just got out of school. I didn't want to go back, yeah. Planning on military. My dad is the one that told me to take a year or two to think about what to do. And then I changed my mind, got a job after 2 years. I think it was a good thing I didn't go in because of what I would have chosen. Like I was going back and forth between a master at arms and a freaking, what the hell's the other one? A master diver. And I was like, got big, if you know anything, like in the Navy, And if you know anything about that, like, yeah, some big dreams, man. Like, yeah, so I think it was a good thing I didn't go in. The reason why I never did was fear. And it was fear that I would be too far away if something happened to my parents while I was gone, that kind of thing. Fucking bees, okay. Swear to God. I hope there's no cameras, because I swear security's gonna like look and be like, what is this person doing? Anyway, I'm like just talking. That was the main reason. Well, 11 years after, he's still alive. So. But it also, I was second guessing it a lot. And the thing was, I only told like a few friends I thought that I was thinking about going into the Navy. Like I was just researching it and like looking into it. And then next thing I knew, like most of the people in school knew that. And I was just like, how? Like I even had teachers, I was called to a meeting with other students, and then I realized this, during that meeting, this teacher was telling us, basically giving us like info with the military in our town, the ex-military or the veterans in our town. That way, when we come back from the military, we have a veteran that we can go talk to, what the hell is that called? Where you go back into civilization, you know? Oh, transition back into civilization from the military. And it's just like, I don't need that. Got my dad. Because my dad was in the Navy. What it felt was like this silent expectation put upon me. Like I felt a ton of pressure, because then I thought, Jesus, everybody just is assuming that I'm going into the Navy. I just didn't like it, because when there's an expectation, I sometimes want to do everything to not hit that expectation for people. Why? I think I'm just a cynic, you know? That kind of thing. I don't know if that's the right word. Moving on, different experience for everyone. Do your research. Oh, that's the whole thing with if you want to go into college, trades, military, or work. It's all got its pros and cons. That might have to be a video for a whole nother thing, because you can go really into it about each one of those. I'm so tired. I just got off work too. And we're pushing it. So I can see at a young age what awaits me by seeing my parents working, continuously learning. That's the whole thing. Education, it doesn't stop. Even if you choose not to go into like any kind of college thing, you're still learning, like in life, about stuff. I think I've already set like an expectation for myself in life, just because I was comparing how I'm gonna be like my parents, because my parents are like the same, like, you know, so I just assumed I'm most likely gonna follow the same path that they did. I just automatically knew like I'm going to have to work hard, just like my parents did. And it sucks. Like, to be honest, yeah, it sucks. But it's also, like I know, I don't know. I think we're just gonna move on, because my brain cannot. This video is trash. And I have just reached low battery. Okay, so we're gonna have to try to go fast, and hopefully it doesn't delete on me. So comparison, are you confident in who you are as a person? Now, yes, I can say yes to that. We're all the same, yet so different, kind of diverse, isn't it? Who would have thought? Comparison is the thief of joy. Everyone's life is different. We're all on our own paths, some similar, some cross, some completely out of the box. Like a ladder, someone's always above you and someone's always below you, regardless if you move up or down in life. That's why comparison's stupid. Stop doing it. So we're all at different stages in life, and then there's no timeline for life too. Hard not to compare, try to shift your mindset. So I'm somebody that used to be pretty envious and jealous of others, because it's so easy. That's my shoes. Because it's so easy to do that. When you try to see how you're doing in life, like what do? You look at others around you. So you do end up like kind of comparing to how you are compared to like everybody else. So no timeline for life. What I mean by that is there's no set timeline. Like, there's no age that you're supposed to have this accomplished, that accomplished. And so that thing is like, you're supposed to go to college. You're supposed to get a job. You're like a career. And then you're supposed to start a family, you know, all that stuff. And it's like all these kinds of goals. But I don't know what the hell. I lost my train of thought. Damn it. What I wrote for this is one I struggled with and still do because it is so easy to compare. I also do it to see if I'm growing around the same time as others my age. But again, we are all at different stages in life, and you could have been doing good, then something happens and sets you back to the very beginning. You know, that's life. Very unpredictable. Bro, I can't tell if that car sounded weird. It sounded like chimes. I don't know. I thought that was like an EV or something. And I was like, what the hell is that noise? And I'm like, oh, they're just playing music. Oh, gosh, I'm gonna run out of battery. These are shit with battery. I try to shift my mindset. Yeah, instead of feeling jealous of people, I felt more of a feeling of failure and guilt. Oh, I've been jealous before though. Like I'm not good enough. Instead, I don't know, thought, hell yeah. Oh yeah, that person made it and accomplished their goal. I can do it too. I'm not sure. Just a mind shift. That's what I mean by you shift your mind. When I would compare myself, I would just feel like, well, like, why am I even here? Like, there's no point to me being here. Like, I'm just taking up space. You know, that kind of thing, that way of thinking. Then I don't know why. I just started, when people accomplish stuff that, like, even I wanted to, I just thought it, like, was happy for them. Like, it's easy. You just shift your mindset. It's kind of hard, but once your brain finally unlocks it, like, it's great because, like, you just see it as we're all different. We're all on different paths. Like, everything's going to be completely different for all of us, and there's stuff that happens that will be similar, but, you know, if that person made it, then you could also make it. You know, it's that way of thinking, and that's what got me through that feeling of, like, comparing, jealousy, kind of envy. It's just that mindset shift. All right, so graduations, final thoughts on the school is basically everything I put down in that slideshow, plus what I talked about from my notebook. It felt like a waste of time, I'm not gonna lie. But I think it also helped me too with, I don't know, just, it's socialization is just what it kind of feels like, and you're learning kind of social norms too. But I mean, it doesn't really work out for everybody. Because I mean, if you're somebody that wasn't able to make friends, you know, or if you were bullied, like, that's, your socialization is pretty shit then. Do you really know your family? I did not know my family until after I graduated. Ow. And then after a few years after too. And if that doesn't, like, just change your mind, like, about a lot of things, like, make you rethink everything again, yeah, it'll do it. Because, like, I mean, I knew my parents, I just never knew what they believed in or how they were as people, or, like, you know, I didn't really know them, to be honest, until I got older and I started just being with them more and talking with them. And, like, am I happy? I love them, but there was a lot, like, when I was processing through that stuff during the time, there was a lot of resentment on my side because it's easy to find somebody to blame every time. Anyway, but I'm past that, like, way past that now. So patience is key, just like gambling. What? What did I mean by that? I don't know. You need to nourish relationships. It's the same thing with friendships. It's not your job to fix your family. Like, don't put that on yourself. No choice of what family you are born into. So that one can really just, depending what kind of family you got born into, will really change the whole outlook of your life. Like, it's something. So if you were born into, I don't know, a family has, like, there's a ton of generational wealth and, like, a ton of businesses or something, you're pretty much set for life. As long as you play your cards right and nothing crazy happens. But then if you're born into like a poverty, kind of a low income family, and that's what I was born into, which it is what it is. Like, it's real easy. I used to be like very resentful and angry, and it's just like, I don't know. I just realized it was making me tired, like worse mentally, thinking like that. And it's like, you can't help it. You know, this is what you were born into, and it doesn't have to always be like that. And then a lot of that has to do with also what is society like too, where you are, where you live. But yeah, that one, I don't even know. You can always cut out toxic people. You have to be careful with that, like really, really think it through. And like the only person that will really know for sure is you. Like you know how that person treats you, and you know if that's a good decision, whether or not to cut them off, you know. People change. Be thankful for what you got. Yeah, if you got it, be thankful for it. That's easy to do, because if you compare, it depends, like, what are you comparing? Are you comparing like your own life to somebody else's that's at like a higher status, that has more stuff than you? Or like, do you ever compare yourself to somebody that is way worse off? You know, that kind of thing. That's kind of where it's like, you know, be thankful for what you got and that kind of stuff. But yeah, people change. I was pretty resentful towards my parents, and then I got to know them more, and then I just communicated more with them, and I've been able to shift some of how they think, and it's been pretty good. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna drop my phone. Okay, we're at 18%. So I didn't know my parents at all until after high school. I was just home, and then Dad retired. That's what that was. That's how I was able to get to know my parents, which is, I think it kind of sounds weird that I didn't really, but I didn't know my parents until after high school, and I was just home. I don't even know, man. So, oh yeah, patience. Patience is key, because also they've been around longer than you. Like, and then you're new to this world, so it's kind of like you're still learning stuff. So it's really hard, but both parties are going to need patience to like work on the relationship. It depends also on family dynamics, because you're gonna get families that are like the most close-knitted families possible, like they have each other's backs no matter what. And then you're gonna get families that just feels like you just plucked people from like 5 different countries all over, like, and put them together in one family, and then they hate each other. Like, it depends. And then also, family, I don't think it is by blood. You know, you can create relationships that are like family, like they have that, because when they say family, it's like tight knit, you know. It's family, okay? It's that kind of thing. That's family. You do not have to give grace to your family if they don't deserve it. Like, oh, it's your mother, it's your father. It's like if they treated you like shit and they're not willing to take accountability, to apologize, like, no, you don't have to give those people grace. Fuck that. If you got a good one, that bond, nurture that bond. If you don't, you can find it in other people. If they're toxic and they aren't willing to work on themselves or take accountability, might as well cut them off. I believe you don't have to go that extreme. Also depends on context. Like, it depends on each individual people. Like, it depends. But you can keep them in your life just at a distance. That's where, instead of like doing a complete cutoff, unless the person's just, it's not worth it, I like doing arm's distance, you know, that kind of thing. That way they're still in your life, but some people do that though in order to keep the peace for the rest of the family. But oh gosh, that's an individual thing to really think through if that's the right step for you. Did you get your dream job? No, I did not get my dream job. I think like when I was 18, my dream job, when the guidance counselor, when he asked me, I said a film producer or director. And then he's just like, what's your backup? It's like, thanks, man. I fucking appreciate it. Yeah, that pieces of shit. I did not like school, I tell you that. This one's long. Network. Job interviews, you can always leave. Don't sell your soul to a soulless company. So many choices. You're replaceable. Profits over people. Co-workers are not your friends. It depends. Honestly, I see it as just co-worker friends, you know, your co-worker friends. Sometimes the only time you're friends after is if like one of you quits and you're still hanging out, then you're friends. But also if you're friends before you start working together, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like a revolving door, attendance is important. That's true. And I have a lot to talk about it because I'm a perpetually late person. That's a different video. Work-life balance is the most important thing, and that's really hard to do, especially when there's so much pressure on you and you're expected to do so much in this fucking society. It is very hard to find that work-life balance, okay? I gotta do a video over that. 13%. Why give 100% when they'll take 10%? You should take pride in your work, but you shouldn't overdo it, you know, covering for everybody else. Don't do that. You don't have to go above and beyond. Have pride in your work. Believe actions, not what someone tells you. Avoid gossip. Keep personal life to a minimum. Be careful of what you say around coworkers. Mourn your dream. They are not your family. Life is short. Why not go for it? Won't know unless you try. Always try to move up if you want. So I guess that's what I have. For work, yeah, it is network. The job I'm at currently is the only job out of like a ton of jobs that I had where I had to go out on my own and get that job. All the other jobs I've had is because I knew somebody. Family or friends, connections, that's all I'm telling you. Most people are lazy. The few that aren't are either new and won't last or just old and a hard worker. It's all right to mourn your dream. Doesn't mean that dream's like completely dead though. But also you should be realistic with your life. You know, like, dang, I wanted to go to, is it Full Sail University? And I don't know if that's Florida or California, I don't know. It was somewhere where it's like tropical. Well, it's not, it's more sunny than here. And so then I looked at the cost and I was like, oh boy, there ain't no way. Like, that's, like, it's a weird kind of, we're back on education, I guess, in comparison, but it's so weird being around a lot of your peers of the same age and, you know, they're all looking at colleges to go to, and then it's the next step. It's normal because it usually is the next step. You further your education, that kind of thing, unless you have something else that you want to do. You know, you compare yourself and then it's like, man, these kids have the opportunity, I don't. It sucks. And it's also like a lot of it is on me too because I just did not try in education because, I mean, if you know, your grade's good enough and you might be able to get like a scholarship or something. That's a hard one though. Like, just, like, it is because it doesn't feel fair, but it's also we all have different circumstances of where we're at. And yeah, I don't know what I was saying about that. So COVID, this gotta be the last one. So who can I rely on? Social distancing and mask? Oh, you can't rely on anybody. Only person you can rely on is yourself, sometimes. Anyway, that depends. The confusion and uncertainty, can't trust other people, can't trust healthcare, can't trust government. A lot of people just don't care, selfish, just trust issues with the whole system. For some, it was just an inconvenience. For others, they lost everything. Just remember that. For some of you that complain about that stuff, and it inconvenienced you because you had to stay home, just remember there was a lot of people that lost everything that mattered to them. Okay? Like, I don't know. I think it's because I end up on, like, the sides of the internet where it's the people that say it's all a hoax. And it's like, I've had it. I know multiple people that have had it. I've also lost a family member to it. So anytime somebody says that it's a hoax, oh, I get so pissed. Or said that like COVID ain't real, and it's just like, just use your brain, bro. Please, just use it. It's not that hard, but I swear it must be impossible for some people. Isolation. Some kids never got to experience their graduation amongst, like a lot of kids weren't able to experience a lot of stuff that is very important in childhood. Like developmental. I mean, there were kids in like kindergarten and everything was normal. Then all of a sudden, oh no, you can't touch your friends. You guys can't play. You gotta wear a mask now. We gotta change everything that you were currently learning and completely 360 it into a completely different type of learning environment. And then you expect kids just to adapt to it easily. Society's hanging on by a thread. Not much transparency, while also they're trying to show transparency, and it feels fake. Easy to just set everything upside down, and it all went back to normal. Weaknesses of society are revealed. Work from home started getting like real more mainstream kind of thing, and people were starting to see the positives to it, you know. And then the social skills, etiquette, third spaces, death of small business. Holy crap, I'm gonna have to finish this at home because I do not have a camera to film on, and I have 7%. So COVID, I quit my first adult job back in 2018 or 19, and I was just chilling at home, doing nothing, because I find that to be the best. Didn't get another job until 2021 or 2022, not sure. I'm already used to being a recluse. I am a hermit, so the social distancing never bothered me. Again, what does that mean? I live at home, so not completely alone. That's another thing. I went through stuff with my mom and her health. Oh, that was during COVID, yeah. When something like that, very serious, hits you, while also a pandemic's going on, you do lose a lot of trust in everything, in the whole healthcare. Because it's just like, I'm supposed to rely on you. You're supposed to help, you know? And it just made it seem like you don't care. But it's a pandemic and everybody's so tired too and overworked, and it's like, yeah, it took me 2024 to go back to the doctor. So, yeah. Anyway, people lost loved ones, lost moments they can never get back. For some, it was just an inconvenience. For others, they lost everything. Damn, it smells like cat piss over here. Anyway, bros, I'm going to have to call it quits on this one, or on this scene right now. So I'm probably going to end up back in my room just because it's, I got 2% left. So yeah, hopefully I don't. There's so many people here at the park. There's a lot of people at the park. I'm just going to say that, and it's freaking me out. If you ever film anywhere, make sure that you actually have all your supplies. Like, get a list of stuff. There's so many people at this park, and now I'm gonna have to get on my scooter and ride out of here without drawing too much attention to myself. Okay,